I reviewed the minutes and make a motion that we pass them.
Second.
Motion been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
I've had a few people tell me that they couldn't hear us over the mic, so they said it was muffled and not very clear, so.
One add this week.
I'll make a motion that we approve ad 2019-97.
Second. Motion been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have the sheriff's monthly fee report.
Receipts in the amount of $1,580, and I'll make a motion that we allow our chair to approve that. We approve it.
Second.
Or signs it.
Motion been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then I've got claims for the week.
In the amount of,
$46,012.97.
and I'll make a motion that we approve it.
I'll second that. Motion been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, sorry.
Okay, all I have.
Gary, you got anything before we start?
No, I don't.
All right, Jalen, you want to go ahead and jump up here and tell us how things are going?
My name is Galen Anderson, Operations Manager with the AMR Ambulance Service here in Linn County. I don't have a big report this morning, so I'll save you some time. We are starting to see a transport volume trending back up over the last week or so. So it seems like the kind of the tendency that folks were having of wanting to stay home over go to the hospital is starting to ease a little bit. So we are seeing the effect of that. PPE and supply wise, we're doing well. We were able to get a fogger for disinfecting the ambulance unit. So after a unit goes on a respiratory call or transports a patient that has respiratory symptoms and is potentially infectious, now our crews have the ability to use a fogger and a hospital grade disinfectant to fog the ambulance with. It's about a 30-minute process that does obviously a thorough disinfecting of the unit, so we're happy to have that, and it'll come in handy for the future as well come flu season and what else the future may hold. So we implemented that last week, so the crews are happy to have that. Other than that, I got a few people out on leave of absence, one for having a baby, but all his shifts are covered and haven't had any out of service time. So we did have a few helicopter flights out over the weekend of critical patients, and the handoff between the ground crew and the flight crew went well, and so we got those patients to definitive care quickly. And that's about all we've had going on. Any questions for me?
None for me.
None for me.
Nothing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, have a good week.
You too.
Sheriff?
Good morning, Commissioners. Kevin Friend, Linn County Sheriff. Prisoner population today is 19, 13 in, 6 out. We had 125 911 calls this last week, over 600 jail contacts. The interesting number, though, was our calls for services. They were up quite a bit from the last few weeks at 326. So that's pretty much our numbers. Back on a couple of days ago, or 3 days ago, 4 days ago now, May 1st, in the early morning hours, we assisted Miami County with a chase that started in Miami County. I bring this to you because it caused quite a bit of communication through social media and stuff like that. I just wanted you to have some knowledge about it. Miami County started a chase of a vehicle in Miami County. Came over near Evergy. I think it cut into Missouri and then back into Linn County. Our deputies gave chase to the vehicle and ended up, the chase ended around 399th, 403rd to 399th and Somerset, where the fella that was being chased had shot at deputies in Miami County. When he exited his vehicle in Linn, he exited with his rifle and never was able to get any rounds off at our people. Our folks chased him into the timber and ended up arresting him, turned him over to Miami County as an assist for them. So that's something that'll probably be making the press this next week, and I just wanted you guys to know about it. I attached a press release to my report there and placed it on your desk. So, but that's pretty much all we had as far as on the road stuff that we probably need to bring light to. We did finish, or will finish today, our gel painting project. We have about a half cell to go. Commissioner McCullough was very gracious and assisted us with getting some paint and products for the gel. And we were able to get that done. It looks a lot better in there and smells better, and it's just a lot better environment. So we appreciate the assistance on that, Commissioner McCullough, and we'll hopefully move forward and be able to keep it that way, keep it nice and clean. And we do have some leftover paint that we can do some touch up and stuff like that. So that's pretty much all I have to report. Anything for me?
Not me. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Jeff. All right. Doug, you want to keep an eye on the weather?
Good morning, Commissioners. Doug Bartlett, Fire and Emergency Management. Obviously, we're watching the weather this morning. There are severe warning storms to our west, both southwest, west, and northwest, moving in this direction. So we'll be monitoring those. I'll probably stay here while they're in the area until they move through here, so that if we need to evacuate the commission meeting room, we can do it as quickly as possible. Obviously, we've been working on the COVID. We did make an equipment or a supply request to the state this past week and received 50 Tyvek suits, and then we received 2,000 of the masks like back there on the table that I brought in this morning, some for the clerk's office or the courthouse, some for the sheriff, some for the annex, and others. So we'll have some of those disposable one-time use masks that we can give to our employees. They don't require fit testing to wear because of the type of mask they are. They're basically like a procedure or surgical mask that you've all seen. So, but we did get some of those in that we'll have to give out to employees. We'll be meeting with Dr. Allen this morning to start building his order for phase 2. Now that we have information from the governor's office, we can put that together and get that going. So we've scheduled to meet with him this morning. And then I believe he's willing to talk to you on a conference call, but I'll let Tisha handle that during her briefing. We've been working diligently to get everything done. We had a plan written up, or an order written up for him for this opening or reopening, and then the governor came out with orders that superseded ours. So in effect, we rebuilt what he had asked us to put together and got it out on Friday evening late, and have been talking with some of the different businesses trying to make sure they're up to speed on it. So we'll continue that as we move through this week. Any questions I can try to answer for you?
Not for me.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Mr. Barlow.
Tisha?
Tisha Coleman, Linn County Health Department, good morning.
Good morning.
Still at 6, COVID update is 6 recovered cases. In the last 7 days, we have had an uptick in testings of 36. I say symptomatic, but I think some of these are like pre-surgery or pre-hospitalization testing, so probably not all symptomatic patients. Does that make sense? And then we did 23 of our population testings, all of which are negative. So 145 total for Linn County. We obviously had planned the meeting for Friday, and we canceled that due to the delay of the governor's order, and have moved forward with our plan in addition to hers. So we've been reaching out to businesses. I know that Doug sent out an email to the businesses that had registered with the business registry. And then we've reached out to restaurants and things like that. So if anybody has questions in regards to how they can accomplish these tasks or what our requirements are, then they definitely can give us a call as we can help them with that. If they need a form or guidance for symptom monitoring, we have forms for that. And then we have our sign in and sign out, or not sign in and sign out, but when we have them coming into the business, if they're coming in, we want, to know who it is, their phone number and date they're in, time out. And the purpose of that is for contact tracing, so that if, like I said last week, if somebody comes in, then that's the storm warning. And anyways, so that that can assist us at the health department with doing that. I do have Dr. Allen, who's available via conference call if you'd like to talk to him after I talk. He'd answer any questions or discuss anything with you. We can do that. One big question that we have, though, is moving forward as we continue to reopen. Obviously, those things we can go back to what we were previously, depending on the number of cases that we get. And the definition of an outbreak is 2 or more cases linked to a confirmed positive. And so if we were to get that, my question to you as commissioners, to help us know what our plan is proactively, not reactively, is, do you want the whole county to be affected like what we were, or do we narrow that down to more local?
I'd like to, if it comes to that, for me, I'd like to have a little conference about it first, either by phone or whatever.
Okay.
That's all I'd want. I would like to be filled in on what could or couldn't happen.
Well, and that's what we can talk about. I mean, we can
Yeah.
talk about that now. And even I say, get Dr. Allen on the phone. We have discussed, since it's already here, it's come into our community, moving forward, how we address what is gonna happen. I'd like to say that we're not gonna get any more cases, but I think the reality of it is that it's gonna come into our community at some point.
Okay, the numbers you said earlier, 145 tested,
Yes.
okay, and we still have six positives,
Yes.
of course, they're all been
Yes.
quarantined and released and all that, okay.
Yes.
All right, I just wanted to clarify that, but where I'm at is I'm not on a medical authority, and you guys are our resident experts, and if you come to us and said that we feel like, instead of locking down Parker, Kansas, and maybe we're a bedroom community, and it's gonna be a unique of a situation that I agree wholly with Rick, that we're gonna wanna individualize that, but I've already made it clear that I'm not any type of expert at this, and if you guys have an opinion, I'm going to do my level best to support that. So, but yeah, I think it'd probably be one of those things before we just wholeheartedly just shut down the whole county, or probably something we wanna look at individually as quickly as we can. I know I'd make myself as available right then, whenever I could. Morning or night.
Did we answer it?
Huh?
Did we answer your
No,
question?
we're not really.
You just wanna be informed before it occurs.
Yeah.
And I think they're also saying whatever backtracking has to be done, they would like it to be as narrow as possible and
Yeah.
still be effective.
Right, yeah. And that's
Is that correct?
That's well
what
put.
we've been trying to do globally for Linn County, so.
Well, we've just talked about this from almost the very beginning, and we're underreactive, that is a problem, and gonna be perceived as a problem. We're overactive, but also, but if we're gonna err in a direction, I would assume we would wanna err on being extra safe. And we also know that there is a cost to that. There's an economy issue, and the whole nation, the whole world's seeing it, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's important enough of a decision, we probably wanna put our heads together quickly, and
Sure.
I wanna tell you, you know a lot more about what's going on, and got your finger on this, and you and Doug and
Yeah.
Dr. Allen, and
And we meet with him usually at least daily, calls, text, he comes in, he's coming in this afternoon.
You've had some of those talks already about,
We've had lots of talks.
okay.
That's
So
why,
what,
that's why we're talking about planning, and instead of waiting until we get a case and having to scurry around and rush, is to plan in
okay,
reference to that.
so you've talked about it, so what side's Dr. Allen kind of leaning to?
The suggestion would be to narrow it more to locally,
He's a smart guy.
yeah. And so, yeah, he is a smart guy. Do you want to talk to him on conference call? Do you have
I don't
questions?
need to, I mean, we can if you
Okay.
think it's important.
It's up to you. I just know that you had expressed, or you guys had expressed, having a conversation with him or talking to him at some point, and we were gonna accomplish that, one, with our meeting on Friday night, because we thought we would have our our guidance from the governor in reference to what that was, and he was gonna be there, and so, he is not available to come this morning, but he said he definitely would talk to
Well,
you.
I think we've gotten great feedback and great advice, and you guys have all done a great job, so I don't
Yeah, I don't think
necessarily.
necessary right now.
Okay. Do you have any questions? Other questions?
I don't have any.
You know?
And like oh, go ahead.
No, I don't have any questions. If you need any support or communication from us, I think we're clear that whatever, they or not.
Right, okay. And again, I just want to reiterate, anybody that's having questions, solutions, trying to figure out how to accomplish tasks such as, I guess, restaurants would be a big one, how to maintain that 6-foot social distancing, or, have them give us a call. We're there to help everyone in the county, and we want everybody to get back open and to be as effective and profitable as possible.
Hey, could you take a look at we talked about it earlier today, the Miami County paper,
Yes,
the
I-
commissioners had passed a chart,
Mhm.
or published a chart. It's a great chart, and it's on their website. Will you just look at it and see if it's a good idea or not
We
for
can,
us? I think
yes.
it's really easy for people to understand.
Yes.
A lot quicker than looking at that whole order from the governor.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the governor's order and our order, there's lots of words to it. And then I believe, is it 43 guidance documents that have been put out in relation to Governor Kelly's order, specific to each industry. And so I have not read through all of those documents, and so there's even more information, to dive into and help try and figure some of the stuff out, because there's, like I said, there's lots of words that are in those documents, and it's all good words. It's just, like you said, it's sometimes easier. But just because it's open doesn't necessarily mean it's open as it previously was,
There you go.
so.
Yes, ma'am.
On the signing thing on the restaurants, I've gotten so many people messaging me, whatever, about the invasiveness of that for the public going to these places. Where are we on that?
The invasiveness is, obviously, as far as the information that's gonna be obtained is their name and their phone number and maybe who was with them, the date and the time in and the time out. We have requested for them to keep those records for 30 days. And the purpose of that is because when we do contact tracings, we have to go back 14 days from date of onset of symptoms. The invasiveness of it, that is between that person and the business owner. That information is for them only. For instance, the business owner, we can't tell them what they do with that information, I guess. I guess we could, kind of like HIPAA, but then the fact that if I need to call Gary today and say on March 15th, or not March 15th, on April 15th, who was can you send me your list of people that were in and out of there? We won't probably be specific to a time frame. We'll maybe just ask for that day so that we can identify who would have been around that person. And then that information is not going to be shared as far as when we do our contact tracings, but what we'll do is we'll say, we believe you may have been exposed. and this is the steps that need to take place.
Is it accurate to say that that information will not come to any government entity unless there is an identifiable
Absolutely.
infection in a
Yeah,
specific place?
yeah, we're
at a
not
specific
doing
time?
it to, I say, you know, violate people's privacy and see who goes in and out of every business, and, I mean, that's not information, I mean, it's just to aid us into contact tracing, because if we can identify those people before we have several cases, then we can hopefully prevent or stop the spread.
How does this link to the 400 people that the governor was hiring to do controlling this contact tracing?
Contact tracings are going to be bound by a HIPAA contract or a HIPAA, and so they will not be, I mean, if they do violate it, they're going to suffer the penalties of a HIPAA
But
violation.
there'll be contact tracing people at every level of state government.
Yes.
There'll be people at the state level doing that for state-related contacts, and there'll be people at the county level doing it.
And we're doing our county, right now, we are currently doing our contact tracings, investigations, and all of that locally. That's why we've got the school nurses that we've got on loan, and we have, and then we have the capability of hiring them over the summer. And so for them to, if we get an uptick of 50 cases in Linn County, obviously that's beyond our control. We'll definitely have to reach out to KDHE and have them help us. And I say 50, that's not the magical number, but I'm just saying a lot of cases where if it's unmanageable, we're gonna be reaching out. Okay,
Thank you.
okay, thank you.
So we got an email here from the church, the MCCC called and would like possibility to do an arrangement between, or to use the movie equipment theater, or the movie equipment stuff the county owns. I printed out a message from Cindy when she was talking about that too. We've talked about this here a while back, didn't we?
We did, and there was some question, I think, on whether or not that we really should be loaning things out. But when we bought this equipment, part of that was paid for through economic development, and that was our idea at the time, is we would be able to use it for community events and loan it out. But we wanted, since there was some question about it on a usage a while back, we wanted to bring it up.
Did we have I thought we talked about getting an
Okay,
agreement wrote up or something?
Chris was probably had his ear against that all the time, and I think the concern was is if we're gonna use the IT folks to go out and set it up and then go to break it down and bring it back and do all that, it was gonna be a big commitment for the county to make that happen. And we also had a discussion about a waiver, so here's it is, but if you tear it up or something, or you're kind of responsible, some accountability to the county for the equipment. I really don't know how it landed, or if we were to do something and did not, but.
Yeah, I mean, COVID kind of kicked in right after that discussion, it got going back.
So
As
do you,
far as the waiver piece, Gary and I talked very briefly, but never went real far on that path.
so where we land is to use a waiver, if somebody uses it, that we weren't supplying the limited IT with it, I mean, we weren't doing setup and breakdown. Do you remember that?
I think the discussion was that they would do their own setup with our supervision, wasn't that what we were thinking?
There was some discussion on that. The trouble was the amount of time, especially in that screen. The stand, the screen, the projector, it didn't get packaged up quite right the last time. There was a little bit of problem with that. But it takes like Harry Wisdom's flatbed trailer down here to haul the thing, to set it up, to then stand it, and it's, really big. So it's a challenge to set it up like that. It's not that particular thing. If it was just a projector, it's one thing. The screen itself
I'm receptive to, obviously, it was purchased with the intent to be able to let it out. I'm receptive to that. You guys wanna take a week or so and let us know what, I hate to say, well, let's do that, and then find out that was a $22,000 expenditure that we really didn't need to have. But why don't we just spend a little time looking into it? Thoughts?
No, I agree with you, yeah.
Let us know where that mobile screen.
Chris, do you have an idea of, I mean, you probably, everybody know more about it than anybody, a place to buy that, a smaller screen at a good
Yeah.
cost?
I mean, we can, they sell inflatable screens that would be much more portable. The only reason we didn't buy that originally was, you know, the wind, for our use, like on the courthouse lawn and that kind of stuff, but, and I'm sure they're welcome to use the projector. But I would like, for a smaller piece of equipment, a waiver of some kind, just so, and we know who has it.
Would that be something you'd like to head up?
I can, yeah.
You guys are okay with that?
Yeah, he'll get us back to some costs. It's something that Gary's gonna wanna review or probably outline. You guys get it figured out what you wanna do. And
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we're here till noon.
I gotta go.
Thanks, Chris. You got anything while you're up here?
Well, yeah, I just want to let you guys know, I guess for the camera, the IT director, Chris Martin, that the, all of our planned moves, IT-wise, are done. So all 3 facilities are ready. 2 of them are occupied and being used and fully up, and the 3rd one they're moving into today and tomorrow.
Thanks.
So that's all ready.
All right, good job, thank you.
Thanks.
I think we got Andy on the schedule now. Is he around here? Andy Mayhew?
Yeah, I think he was just gonna wait and hear from us, so we're ready for him.
Yeah, we're ready for him.
I got a call last week that had remodels of cabins and sizing water heaters and tankless water heaters and things like that. While you're standing there, Chris, I greatly appreciate you stepping into a lot of those things that could very easily say not my problem, and you shove them to the side, but you don't. You step into it. He's over here this morning asking me questions about electrical things that I've got to go look up and making them, anyway, making things go in the right direction and keeping them moving. I appreciate all that extra effort. I do. Instead of getting 6 phone calls last week, I only got 1.
Hey, Andy, Charlie Titus caught me at Casey's this morning. He wanted to come in and say thanks or talk, or is it something that we need to, I told him probably wouldn't be a good idea. We're not really letting anybody in because of the coronavirus right now. Is it something you'd want to talk to him over the phone or call him, he can hear, or what do you, is this
I don't
related to
think
him?
Unless he just wanted to be here, but.
Unless there were questions that you guys had of him, there's not much reason for that. Andy could just let him know afterwards.
Oh, I think he just wanted to say thanks or something like that is what he was, but.
I've got 2 applications for lot splits, 20-02 Spencer, 20-03 Holt. Their submitted documents meet all the requirements for me to approve that, except for one. And that is they're both less than the minimum lot size in the A zone, which would require rezoning, which would require a meeting. And they've been stuck on this for about 2 months. The subdivision regulations also make provision for a rule exception that can be issued by the governing body. It's my opinion that approval of that rule exception would not unnecessarily burden the county. It would not annul the intent of the regulation, and would let these people go ahead and get their transaction over, apply for financing. In both cases, the lots are around existing dwellings, so there's not gonna be any impact to county infrastructure. So what I'm asking for you to do today is accept the grant of road easements in both of these cases and issue a rule exception in both of these cases.
Andy?
Yes.
Why couldn't you just do a special meeting or whatever you call it, or a conference call and handle it that way?
I don't know if that would meet the whole water. for
It meets a
public.
lot of other meetings, so I don't know why it wouldn't
This
have
is a
planning
hearing.
or here.
There's a difference between a public meeting and a public hearing.
Okay,
Public hearing has to be accessible, not just for people to observe, but for people, anybody who wants to be able to express their.
why can't they? In a
Because
conference?
what if somebody who wants to doesn't have a computer? You know, I mean,
This has been going on for a couple months, that the hearings have been an issue. And I know the court systems are working on it, but when it comes down to an actual required hearing, they've been issues. But here's some opinions that have been going around in this circle, and now that we're getting ready to redo our clump plan and all that. But if you got an 80, which is very common, so we said, okay, you gotta split off 10, and if you're gonna do, whoever wants to build a home on it, whether it's a grandchild or whomever, but you gotta split off 10. And that's fine, it's too small to farm and it's too big to maintain for a lawnmower. And so now you gotta go get a tractor, you get, this and that. We can actually do sewage management down to 3 by our very basic portion of our code, and smaller, but with variances, correct? Correct. And we've done smaller along the highways here where the State Stick Road and such as that, but it's an approval thing. But I think that even around us, the more developed communities are thinking a 3 or 5 acre tract is a much more reasonable amount of property for somebody to set a dwelling in than a 10 acre tract. And is that where we're?
It would be my opinion that we should regulate this not on size of lots, but on dwelling density would be a much wiser thing to do.
Which is what Miami County went to, is that correct?
Correct.
And then you can do the density, and you can set aside property in an ag zone that's blessed, and maybe put 3 houses along the frontage road, and where it's, instead of having to do really crazy things to get access to these properties because of a set of rules and guidelines like that. I don't have a problem with this exception. This brings them down to above 3 acres, right?
One is 3 acres, one is 6.7.
And to me, I think it's one of the things that I would have an opinion about whenever I get an opportunity to put, as a taxpayer, a questionnaire on our clump plan. Is 10 acres is too much for somebody to, unless you're doing a little bit of livestock, or just let it go, So I think that we, and I think it's probably, there's gonna be rules set in place where you can't just do it anywhere. But I think that we need to be able to accommodate smaller tracts, in my opinion. I don't have a problem with this.
Yeah, I definitely don't have a problem with it either. I mean, keeps everything going, I'm all for it.
As long as it's accessible to everyone, and I don't want David to have to come in and say, well, now you gotta do that rule, this is an exception, and so.
So are you going to look at changing the rules on that?
In the future,
Yeah.
when we go through our update of our zoning regulation and comp plan, I'd wanna that's one thing I'd like to take a good look at.
Okay. I don't have a problem with it, but I think if at all possible, when you can have a meeting or a hearing, you should do it. And I disagree with that somebody doesn't have a computer. If they really want to complain or make comments, they'll find a damn computer. Because they'll find this office if they want to. Not necessarily meaning they have a car.
Well, we can't necessarily let them, because we've got about, 8 or 9 members on board.
I know.